The man is a budget version of Iron Man.
I'm not done with you yet.
Iron Man begins to attack the people below. They are pushed back by the blows. One of them picks up a gun. He shoots at Iron Man. The man raises his steel claws to fight. He instantly transforms into Wolverine. He confronts Iron Man one-on-one. What are the identities of these two? Why are they fighting each other? What conspiracy lies behind this? What kind of threat to the city is this? The protagonist Grom is a police officer. In the previous installment, he teamed up with journalist Yulia and intern Dima to defeat the dual personality Sergei. He created Oleg's second personality and used this identity to judge the sinners in the city. He becomes increasingly radical. The bomb is capable of destroying the entire city. In the end, Grom saved St. Petersburg. From then on, Sergei is locked away in a mental hospital, and Grom becomes the hero of the city. People imitate his style, making movies, writing autobiographies, and even erecting statues. Now, the anniversary of victory is approaching. On this day in the prison, the surveillance suddenly loses signal. Immediately after, a riot breaks out in the prison. A large number of prisoners escape their cells. This is a premeditated jailbreak. After the guards realize the situation, he immediately sounds the alarm. Soon, SWAT and prison guards arrive for backup, including the hero Grom. But the old warden disagrees with the attack plan. He believed that they should wait for the negotiation experts, but he quickly realized that something is wrong. Grom is missing. The time shifts back a few minutes. Initially, Grom didn't want to resort to violence. He approached the prisoners amicably, with his apprentice, negotiating with the inmates. David fired a warning shot. His attitude was hostile. They demanded money and an armored helicopter. The prisoners were uncooperative. Grom had no choice but to take action. The apprentice seized the opportunity to run to the control room. Grom stayed below, buying him time. After an intense fight, Grom's hands were sore from the fighting. He wrapped a metal cup in his clothing to create a makeshift mace. It had tremendous power, but he didn't expect that. His unfortunate apprentice wanted to release the captured prison guards, but he couldn't find the control room manual, so he randomly pressed buttons on the keyboard. He released more inmates. The master was extremely exhausted. He could only keep fighting. However, Grom had a unique ability. He could mentally rehearse the course of events and their outcomes, using this to find ways to solve or avoid problems. Fortunately, Dima found the correct button. He released the guards, regaining control of the situation. The two exited the prison. As they stepped out, they encountered the old warden. Grom had acted on his own, so he felt a bit guilty. But the old warden and Grom were family friends, and he knew Grom's character, so the warden didn't criticize him too harshly. However, Commander Lenia was very angry. He accused Grom of abusing his authority. Grom knew there were many hostages inside. He still acted according to his own judgment. What if the prisoners killed the hostages? Fortunately, the old warden pulls the commander aside. He pushes Grom toward the reporters. Yulia is the cooperating partner, and also his girlfriend. Under his girlfriend's guidance, Grom answered the reporters' questions. The next day, as his colleagues were heading to the bar to celebrate, Dima stops his master. There are doubts about yesterday's prison riot. No one had ever escaped before, let alone organized a jailbreak. According to his colleagues, the warden's behavior was unusual. He intended to rush into the building that day, but then changed his mind. Grom brushes off his apprentice's words. He responds dismissively, and then heads to the celebration banquet. But Dima doesn't give up. He searches for clues to the case alone. Dima investigates all night, but bad news arrived. Deputy Minister Maria arrived in St. Petersburg. She plans to modernize the police force. This involves large-scale layoffs at this stage. The old warden is very angry. They captured the plague doctor, achieving great merit, but Maria is firm in her stance.
Дроны быстрее, точнее, выносливее людей.
She will not tolerate drinking, bribery, or disobeying orders, and the layoffs will target inefficient employees. The old warden knows the drones are just an excuse. Maria wants to conduct mass layoffs. Maria proposes a competition, using drones against the best team in the police department. The old warden also sets conditions. If she wins, she can proceed with the layoffs. If she loses, she must leave immediately. The two sign a paper agreement. The competition will take place in an hour. The old warden sends a text message, calling Grum back to the police station, but unfortunately, he drank too much. At the celebration banquet last night, he is now in a state of hangover. Fortunately, he arrives just in time to complete a perfect drill, taking 4 minutes and 28 seconds. A group of angry people approaches. The leader is named Holt. He is the heir to a business empire. The police drone Crow is their latest research and development achievement. The staff launches the Raven into the air. Maria confidently says to start. The timer begins counting down, but the Raven doesn't move for the first 15 seconds. Grum thinks it's malfunctioning. The Raven's body begins to transform. It charges through the door in an instant. The officers rush over to check it out. In less than a minute, it completes its mission. The old warden's expression darkens. Holt says to Maria, if they are satisfied with the machine, they can sign the order contract now. Maria changes her attitude. She only plans to request a sample for testing. If the sample goes well, in a few years, they will use it on a large scale. But Holt sees through her scheme. He directly points out that she has been using him all along. Grum is unaware of the layoffs. He is spending the anniversary with his girlfriend. The gift from his girlfriend is a smartphone. Because Grum is afraid of exposing personal information, he has been using an old flip phone, but his girlfriend encourages him to give it a try. She forcibly takes the old phone away. Grum's gift is a key to his home. He hopes that his girlfriend will move in and live with him. In the next moment, Grum scans his surroundings. He spots a suspicious person. On the rooftop across from him, Grum tells his girlfriend to stay put. He stands up and jumps over. The suspicious person waits for him to jump over before running away. The suspect deliberately leads him to a certain location. Grum triggers a trap. Smoke begins to rise around him. This person is extremely skilled. Grum finds it difficult to deal with him. Moreover, he has a strange weapon that can change its length at will. Grum doesn't notice that his left arm has dislocated. Grum noticed that the masked man has 1526 engraved on his hand. In the next moment, he is thrown off the building. Fortunately, there are debris below. After a moment, Grum is awakened by the ringing of his phone. The person across the street asked him to go out and turn left. He says, there are explosives hidden in the square. The clue is a place with 7 letters. After he finishes speaking, he hangs up the phone. Grum thinks quickly. Unfortunately, he guesses the target wrong. The base of the angel statue explodes. A huge pillar is about to fall. The crowd below flees in panic, but there's a girl moving slowly. She is about to be crushed. In a critical moment, Grum saves her. At this moment, the mysterious person's phone rings again. The hero can't figure out the riddle. He makes a demand. Only if he resigns will the explosion stop, and he cannot tell anyone about this. The bombing incident makes the news. However, Grum has vanished. The phone cannot be reached. Yulia is very worried. At this moment, host Anna intercepts Yulia's path. Her tone is regretful. Yulia was once an excellent host at the TV station, but since she started dating Grum, she gave up reporting news. Yulia has become Grum's behind-the-scenes planner. This is truly regrettable. But Yulia's face shows only indifference. At the same time, Holt also sees the news. The bombing incident has disappointed the public and the police. This is a great opportunity to promote drones. Holt takes off his shirt, revealing a mechanical spine on his back. This can unlock the potential of the human body. Grum returns home. Dima and Yulia have been waiting for a long time. They want to know everything that happened, but Grum remains tight-lipped. He doesn't want the two of them to get caught up in this turmoil. Yulia is very angry. She pulls Dima away. Yulia leaves the key behind, but Dima doesn't give up. He heads straight for the prison. He brings a roasted chicken to visit David, who planned the prison riot. Dima feels that there must be a connection, and he is certain that someone outside helped him plan the prison riot. However, when David hears this, he changes his attitude. He seizes Dima by the collar. Dima is not easy to mess with. After subduing David, he demands to know who planned the riot. David names the warden. Dima's suspicions are confirmed. Yulia is also not idle. After disguising herself, Yulia enters the Catholic orphanage. She visits Dr. Vania, but she is recognized. Yulia states the purpose of her visit. She inquires about the patient information with the 1526 mark. However, Dr. Vania fiddles with a figurine. He hypnotizes Yulia. He questions Yulia. Dr. Vania confirms that Yulia poses no threat. He hands over the address of the 1526 patient. Immediately after, he visits the ailing Sergei and gives him a red pill. Sergei's third personality is about to emerge. On the other side, Grum learns from the old man that the 1526 mark is the symbol of the Ghost Squad. This is an elite military mercenary group. They participate in the most brutal and insane operations. They work for the highest bidder, like business tycoons such as Holt. Holt stirs up military conflicts around the world, then sells weapons to both sides. The old man doesn't speak out, because Holt has great power, and is skilled at covering his tracks. Only by capturing those mercenaries, and forcing them to reveal the truth, can he be brought down. Suddenly, Grom received a call from the Ghost Squad. The new bomb will detonate at 3 p.m. The location is the Vichabush in code 1703. Time is of the essence. Grom rushed to the station. He finds container number 1703. Inside the container, besides the bomb and alcohol detector, there is also a note. Only when the detector's reading reaches a specific point, he can only open the box and disarm the bomb. He runs to the nearest tavern, but there are no drunks during the day. Grom has to try it himself. He drinks one glass after another. This draws the attention of passers-by. He reached the required reading. Grom opened the box to check. He finds that there is no bomb inside. It is still a riddle game. Grom quickly returns to the station. He locks himself in a space. Grom begins to solve the riddle. He asks a patrol officer for a pen. After some thought, he successfully solves the puzzle. The answer points to Fontanka Circus. Grom rushes into the venue. He demands that the audience evacuate. However, the audience does not move. Time is running out. Grom cannot stand it. He punches a police officer down. Grom draws his service weapon and fires a warning shot, forcing the audience to evacuate quickly. But at this moment, the fountain performance site suddenly explodes. Grom miscalculates once again. This is the second terrorist attack to occur within 2 days, and each time, the target is a famous landmark. But the police take no action. They allow the attacks to happen. Some even suspect that Grom is behind it all, because news of his drunken antics is spreading wildly online. Grom's hero image is destroyed, and he becomes a laughingstock. Meanwhile, the police's credibility is called into question. The biggest beneficiary is Holt. He uses this opportunity to pitch drones to Maria, along with the mechanical spine behind them. Although it allows him to stand and gives him strength, it is slowly consuming his life. Holt won't live past 35. Just as Maria is about to sign the contract, Grom suddenly bursts in. He hands over the evidence collected by the old man to Maria. Holt plans to take over the city. He acquired the social network's controlling stake last year. He controls the city's user database. Not only that, all the surveillance cameras in the city are products of Holt's company. He controls the entire city. If drones replace the police, the consequences will be dire. Furthermore, Holt is collaborating with the Ghost Squad. He planned 2 terrorist attacks. The goal was to undermine the police's credibility, forcing Maria to purchase drones. Grom is also convinced that the bodyguard is a member of the Ghost Squad. He rolls up his sleeve. He finds that there is no 1526 mark on him. This makes Grom's words lose their persuasiveness. In the end, Maria signs the contract, and the old director, in order to appease the public's anger. He doesn't want to sacrifice Grom, so he takes all the blame. He announces his resignation. Maria temporarily takes over the police station. Meanwhile, Dima arrives at the warden's doorstep. He wants to inquire about the truth behind the riot, but the warden is very frightened. He drives away in his pajamas. Unexpectedly, a bomb is strapped underneath the car. Dima recognized that this is a bomb made by the plague doctor. Because of the distinctive smell of the compounds, he rushes to the police warehouse. Dima discovered that the bomb is missing. Dima is determined to find the truth. He obtained the evidence list for the plague doctor case. He prepares to continue the investigation. On the other side, Yulia holds the address. She arrived in the Republic of Karelia. Yulia found a mercenary with numbers engraved on his arm. He explained her purpose.
Я должна найти человека с таким же клеймом, как у вас. Помогите мне. Он устраивает взрывы в городе. Люди в опасности.
The man immediately realized that the one who planted the bomb is Oleg, Sergei's friend. He did not die in Syria. The death documents are forged. Oleg is a tactical master. The items in his hands can become weapons. During his service in Syria, the armed militants locked him in an abandoned house, but they were ambushed and killed by Oleg. This is enough to demonstrate his strength. Meanwhile, after completing the mission, he wants to leave the Ghost Squad, but Holt doesn't want to let him go. After all, dead men keep the best secrets, but all his people are dead. After Yulia learns the details, she publicly revealed the names and identities of the terrorists. The police immediately take action. They search the city's video surveillance system for individuals resembling Oleg, but Oleg has gone into hiding and has created a new plan because he wants to kill Grom. He wants to avenge Sergei. Back then, when he learned the news and found his friend, Sergei no longer recognized him. He kept mumbling Grom's name. Now Oleg is ready. He cleans himself up. Oleg runs under the surveillance camera. He smiles and waves at the camera. The police lock onto his location. They rush to the abandoned casino. Upon arrival, they discovered that the old chief is tied to a bomb. Grom evacuates the crowd. He answered the phone alone. Oleg's voice comes through. You've broken the rules of the game, bringing the police into it. Now I will punish you. As soon as he finishes speaking, the bomb explodes. The old chief sacrifices himself. After hearing this, Dima hurries to the scene. Dima comforts Grom. Throughout the week, he has researched numerous files. Dima discovered that the mastermind behind the bombing is Oleg. Even more alarming is that Oleg infiltrated the police station to steal the bomb and a black USB drive. Dima and Grom head to the psychiatric hospital. They want to find out from Sergei Oleg's whereabouts and the secrets on the USB drive. However, due to long-term medication, Sergei's mental state is poor. His responses are confused. They cannot understand him at all. Grom becomes very agitated. He beats Sergei violently. Fortunately, the medical staff arrive in time, preventing a tragedy. Soon after, a memorial service is held for the old chief. Maria announced the drones are put into use. However, an unexpected event occurs. Oleg breaks into the TV station. He plugs the USB drive into the device, instantly hacking into everyone's electronic devices. He appears like a demon. Oleg announced the new rules of the game. In the underground station, Oleg sets up a deadly trap. He traps everyone inside. Since the underground station was converted from a bomb shelter, the escape routes are sealed off. Worse still, he disables the drones that can detect and disarm the bombs. Oleg declared that things have come to this point. Grom must take full responsibility. He had given Grom a chance to leave the police force. He would stop planting bombs. Grom would rather risk everyone's life. He also wants to play the role of a city hero.
Я готов отключить детонаторы в обмен на смерть майора Грома.
So as long as within 3 hours, someone kills Grom, he is willing to deactivate the detonator. Otherwise, half the city will be engulfed in flames. If the police dare to come after him, he will activate the bomb in advance. Maria decided to find Grom. Meanwhile, Dima discovered a string in the police station's computer called the Black Margot virus. This means that the USB drive contains virus data. Oleg used this code to hack into the surveillance and drones. Then, on the rooftop, Dima and Yulia found the disheartened Grom. He is ready to surrender to Oleg. Dima tells his mentor that they still have a chance. Oleg has used Sergei's virus to hack into the drones. Sergei should be able to shut it down. The three of them spring into action. Yulia and Dima are responsible for diverting the police. Grom takes Sergei out of the psychiatric hospital. Fortunately, Sergei's condition is basically stable. They break into the building where Oleg is located. Grom attacks Oleg. Sergei seizes the opportunity to approach the control panel. He begins to disable the virus. Grom needs to buy time for Sergei to decode it. Grom is beaten so badly that he can't get up. Sergei successfully shuts down the bomb's countdown. The crisis is averted. The drones also return to normal. Maria sees this scene and finally breathes a sigh of relief. However, she celebrates too early because the drones lose control. It turned out that Sergei is the true mastermind behind it all. A year ago, Oleg broke into the psychiatric hospital. He wanted to rescue his friend, to kill Grom. He discovered that Sergei had set up a huge trap. He wanted to make Grom wish he were dead, so he used Oleg to enact his revenge. They bribed the warden to instigate a prison riot. Then, while the police were deployed, Oleg infiltrated the police station's warehouse to steal the bomb and USB drive. This virus can breach defenses. Next, Oleg found Holt. He convinced him to orchestrate a bombing attack to push for the use of drones. When Grom discovered the virus, he will go to the psychiatric hospital to find Sergei to decode it. All of this was part of Sergei's calculations. Sergei used his superb acting skills to toy with everyone. Even the psychiatrist was deceived by him, and there were no bombs underground at all. Those were all just meant to scare people. Oleg urges Sergei to make his move, and then to evacuate.
Планы поменялись.
And Sergei modified the algorithm of the virus. The drones precisely lock onto anyone associated with Grom. Even a single photograph will be added to the kill list. The bloody massacre, led by drones, officially begins. The police station also falls into chaos. Humans are no match for drones. Suddenly, Oleg leaps up from the ground. It turns out his armor saved him. Oleg plans to settle the score with Sergei. Holt suddenly appears. It turns out he learned that he has been manipulated. Holt is very angry. He wants to retaliate for the deception. Holt transforms into Iron Man. He instantly arrives on the battlefield. Oleg is busy dealing with Holt. Grom successfully ambushes Sergei. However, the targets on the screen keep decreasing. Grom had no choice but to keep Sergei's life as a threat to coerce him to shut down the killing program. But Sergei says, once the protocol is activated, it cannot be reversed. Unless the individual's coordinates are found, the drones will not stop attacking. Before he finishes speaking, Dima is shot. Seeing this, Grom quickly processes the situation. Then Grom takes out his phone. He takes a selfie with Sergei. After the drones identify the target's location, they come to track it. Ultimately, in order to save himself, Sergei has to terminate the program. However, just when he thinks everything is over, the drones fire bullets. He dies in the conspiracy he orchestrated. On the other side, Maria saves Dima's life. But the losses in this war are devastating. Countless officers and civilians lost their lives. Holt and Oleg were arrested. Grom must face trial in court because he committed multiple infractions, abusing his power and concealing key evidence. However, the court considered his actions during the crisis. The actions he took, he risked his life to protect the lives of the people. Therefore, the court did not impose severe punishment on him. Nonetheless, Grom chooses to resign from the police force. He plans to atone for the lives lost for the rest of his life. And that brings the story to an end. This film is a sequel to Colonel Grom, Plague Doctor. Both are adapted from comics. Unfortunately, at the end of the previous one, a third personality with wings appeared beside Sergei. In this installment, it is not shown much. Moreover, the protagonist's ability to predict events before they happen has weakened, and the confrontations with the villain are not as thrilling as in the previous film. But overall, this film is still quite good.